Guys, we have a real legend, an icon within the field of life sciences here in Sweden. Thomas Eldered, he is a true unicorn whisperer and has done, Recipharm, a tremendously successful company. I'm really, truly happy to have you here, Thomas. So take it away.
Thank you very much.
Our keynote speaker.
Well, thank you very much for that very nice introduction. Thank you for joining me here today for this presentation. Actually, when I was offered this opportunity, I think it was in the summer, I asked Vator, what on earth could be even remotely interesting for this brilliant audience? And actually, I'm still struggling with that question. Quite a bit, but I will give it a try. And I will talk about my favorite subject, which is Recipharm. That's the only thing I know, and it makes it much easier for me. And actually, when I've chosen that subject, I remember the famous quote from the 60s. And as far as I can remember, it goes like this. Don't ask what the life science industry could do for you, but ask what you could do for the life science industry. I think it was something like that. I think that's a very good quote, and that's how I would like to make this presentation as well. What we could do, in particular from Recipharm, to support the Scandinavian life science industry. But I will first talk a few words about Recipharm as a company and where we are today. We have actually been around now for 23 years. We founded the company back in 1995, and we have now grown to approximately 6,000 employees worldwide in many different geographies. And we are what we call a CDMO, a contract development and manufacturing organization, meaning that we only help other pharma companies to either develop and or manufacture their products, pharmaceuticals. So doing that, we are actually today manufacturing more than 500 different products. Actually, it's quite a bit more than 500 today. And in a number of different presentations, package sizes, labels, and all that for different end markets. And we're supplying products to our customers that will end up in more than 100 different countries. More or less every country of the world. That means also that our work is compliant with all the relevant regulatory requirements that you will see. We made an IPO after 19 years of 2 owners. That was quite a pleasant time, actually. It wasn't so difficult to have the AGMs at that time. But in 2014, we made an IPO on the Nasdaq Stockholm Stock Exchange. And today we have a market cap of approximately $1 billion, close to 10 billion Swedish. And the latest run rate of our turnover, the last 12 months in our Q2 report is 5.8 billion. And we expect actually that to increase to a bit over 6 billion by year end. We operate out of 20 or more than 20 facilities around the world. And these are both manufacturing facilities for pharmaceuticals and development laboratories or development facilities. And we are present all across Western Europe with facilities and operations, but also in Israel and US and India. We have actually quite a substantial operation in India as well, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. Looking back at the journey since 1995, it's been from time to time a little bit busy, and we have seen here over these 23 years or more than 2 decades an average growth in sales of 16%. And out of these 16% per year, approximately slightly more than half is coming from acquisitions, and the rest is organic growth. So it's a long growth story here. The flags here represent new locations, and they could come from either greenfield startups or acquisitions or other transactions. And it's been quite a few countries here. We could see some important events for us, or transformational events. One was in 2007, when we divested our own products division that we had at the time to Mida, and started to expand outside of Sweden with facilities. And another, of course, important event for us was the IPO in 2014. The IPO provided a lot of opportunities for financing for us to continue the growth and continue to explore opportunities that we could see in this market. So we've been pretty busy since then as well, and actually the latest addition to our network, we completed a transaction and acquisition from Sanofi just 1st of October now, so it's only a week or so, or a week and a half ago. And that's an acquisition of an inhalation technology based manufacturing facility in UK, close to Manchester. Very specialized in commercial manufacturing, or manufacturing commercial scale of inhalation products. We think this is a great addition because we have already deep expertise in inhalation products through our development laboratory in the US, which is highly experienced in developing this project. So it's a great fit for us to actually get the commercial scale capacity as well. Our vision is to be acknowledged as the best-in-class provider of contract development and manufacturing solutions to the pharmaceutical industry, as judged by our customers, employees, and other stakeholders. And this has been more or less our vision all throughout these 2 decades. We still have some ways to go, but I do believe that we're moving in the right direction. And our mission is to offer our expertise and our facilities. That means both software and hardware in the development, production, and supply of pharmaceuticals to demanding customers for global use. So we really have a global scope for our services, and that is important. And we're also looking to do services for demanding customers of various sizes. And our goal, long-term goal, is really to be the world-leading supplier of these CDMO services. I think step by step we're getting there. Our value proposition to our customers, to other pharma companies, is basically, this is what we offer. We offer pharmaceutical expertise. We do this for our living. We are very focused on development and manufacturing of pharmaceuticals. We don't do anything else. So that means that we have to do this very well. We are also very good at managing complexity. In particular, for big pharma companies, the supply and the supply chain of pharmaceuticals is an area of growing complexity. Also following M&A activities in the big pharma companies, typically the supply chains become incredibly complex, actually. Again, this is our field of expertise. I think we can do a very good job here and offer our customers value-added services here. We have a full service offering. We have a number of different technologies we cover, and we also have a depth in our services when it comes to the expertise. So this is really an opportunity to do a lot of work with us. We manage risks in various development projects, and we can reduce risks because we can reduce the amount of investments that our customers need to do because we have the facilities, we have the capabilities already to support them. And last but not by all means least, I think we provide good value for money for our customers as well. This has been very appreciated, I must say, and we're getting a growing recognition from this in the pharma market or pharma industry in general, which is very valuable for us and very pleasant to see, actually. And I'm not going to talk very much about us and our finances, but we have on top of or following somewhat troubled last year, we have been able to show quite an improvement in our performance this year or the last 2 to 3 quarters. And we have actually seen in the second quarter here record growth, fantastic growth, 20% sales increase year on year, and also higher margins in all our reporting segments as well. And we see growth in both the manufacturing services, where we manufacture commercial products, of 15 or 30% for these 2 segments. And when it comes to the development and technology, where we do development, of course, also 20% growth in revenues. So quite a good growth and that we see here. These are our locations. And again, you can see here we are present in several different geographies. And I think we have actually almost, we can claim that we have a global presence and actually a very much more broad presence than most of our competitors. In the US, we probably would like to have something more, but we have to take one step at a time, I think. I will now focus on the D facilities, that is the development facilities that we have. And I will not talk anymore about our finances, but looking at the D facilities, these are all part of our comprehensive development services offering. This is actually a way of supporting other pharma companies with development services. And these are all integrated. They are located in different geographies, but they're all integrated in the service offering. So this is one organization supporting customers. And you could see the head count here. We have almost 50 people in the US, in RTP, and France, quite a presence as well, and Italy. Israel is the smallest unit, and it's also the newest, but it also is the one where we see the biggest growth in percentage terms. It's a highly interesting market, very innovative, actually very, very interesting market. The largest unit for development is in India, in Bangalore, where we have an amazing amount of competent and very capable scientists and chemists, pharmacists, and so on. It's actually an amazing availability of these skills as well, or well-educated people is in a lot of them are possible to recruit there. And of course we have in Sweden almost, slightly over 100 people also working with development. 100 out of the total approximately 1,000 employees that we have in Sweden. In total, this is more than 400 employees working with development, and again, present in 7 different locations. And we have a very large number of customers for development, or customers or partners in many cases. And these actually range from the big pharma companies to the, or perhaps the biggest companies in the world, to what could be perhaps the sort of smallest companies, like a man and his dog type companies. For the large pharma companies, we typically do only specific services. It could even be manufacturing a placebo for a clinical trial, which is, by the way, not so easy as you may think. It could be quite tricky. And the smaller companies, we can usually do full development programs, starting almost from the basic idea. We're currently operating some 150 different product development projects where we are involved with our customers. So it's a large number of projects here. And we're generating something like, or almost 400 million in revenues here from this business. It is really a capacity. It's a large capacity and extensive capabilities in many different areas. A big number of experts here in many different areas. And if we look at it more from what we actually do, we cover the whole chain from when it comes to pharmaceutical development, all the way from medicinal chemistry and preclinical work up to the scale-up and tech transfer into commercial manufacture. A number of services here. I mean, I can't go into details of this, but you could see this is really covering the whole development process. Once you have the idea, once you have the compound, to take it into a commercial product or a ready pharmaceutical. The current projects that we're working with, which are specific programs for product development, we are actually working with our customers with 24 preclinical projects and 45 in a clinical phase. 1, 2, 3 differs. And 6 projects are actually now, as we speak, more or less, into tech transfer into commercial manufacture, following approval by the marketing authorization. So again, quite an extensive work here. We could look a little bit onto the specific services that we actually provide to our customers. And these are a few examples. We have a package, the Recipharm Pathway to Clinic, which is a fully detailed and specified program to take a molecule quick and easy into a first-in-human study. So all the way here through formulation development into the first-in-human study. This is a very coordinated process. We have a relation with a Swedish company, Clinical Trial Consultants. So we're working together. They are managing the actual clinical study, but we are doing everything up to the clinical study. And for the customer, this means seamless collaboration, a ready package, sort of turnkey concept, how to get into the first-in-human study. Very well received by many, in particular, somewhat smaller companies. Another type of service, we also provide sort of piece-by-piece services. And just to give you an example, we do stability studies and stability programs, develop analytical methods, testing methods. And this is actually quite a big business for us. And it's an important activity, sometimes overlooked by many in the development. We have a great capacity here, and in particular, we do a lot of this work in India, which is very speedy, very cost efficient, and extremely reliable. So this is another example of the type of services we provide. Another example is that we are also we have the opportunity to offer to customers some proprietary technologies, but also some technologies, in particular drug delivery technologies or other formulation type technologies to our customers through various collaborations that we have with partners around the world. And this is just an example of a company, Altus Formulation. It's a US company, and it's a Canadian company, and they are having certain technologies here that could be of great interest in certain applications. We have actually a number of these collaborations that we together offer to our customers, and that could be very helpful in certain development projects, of course. Another way that we are supporting the pharma industry or the life science industry is actually what we call the Recipharm Venture Fund. And I should start here and say that those of you that think we have been inspired by Volvo and other companies in choosing which Swedish famous football player to help to promote our services. I have to admit this is actually not him, but it's one of our employees. Anyway, here we are actually, and again, perhaps primarily with the somewhat smaller companies, we are entering into a relation where we share the risk, but also the reward in their projects. The typical development service is actually a fee-for-service activity. But in certain cases, we are also able to provide financial support to development companies looking for our services. And we only enter into this relation when we have the possibility to actually support them through our services. And this is a good way for the customer or for the pharma company to get to tap into our extensive experience in product development. And that's very different from a financial investor. I think we have the added benefit of providing our services to the company, and that means that we could be perhaps a little bit more reasonable in the financial terms of these investments as well, if you compare to a pure financial investor. This is also highly interesting, actually, and we have a number of criteria. They are not, it's only a list of 5, but still there are a few. We like to understand what we're doing. I'm not always sure we do, but we try. And we like to understand the product concept and so on. But again, number 3 here is important, that the project will benefit from our services and ultimately, hopefully, in the end, our manufacturing of the product once it reaches the market. We sometimes do actually partner with VCs in this as well, and that is actually not probably the most common solution. Very interesting, actually, and also for us, this means we get the relation to highly interesting companies in many ways as well. Another way where we actually doing this type of investments is when to get access to technologies and knowledge, and these are always collaborative projects, one way or another. So again, access to a drug delivery technology or something else that could be a benefit for our customer, for us or for our customers. The current portfolio we have in the Recipharm venture fund, there are some here that have reached or have been doing the IPO and reached and become public companies. We, of course, entered into these relations much before they became public companies. But Lids and Isofol and Xspray are good examples of successful companies, I think, that where we have been able to offer our support and where we have engaged our venture fund in supporting them in the early stages. These are all good examples of different requirements. I mean, Lids, for instance, they have a very unique technology that was very unique, very innovative, and actually quite challenging to develop into something that could work in a commercial scale as well. Some other companies that are perhaps not yet, I don't know, public, but these are Swedish company, Pharmanest and Synatro. These are good examples of the different types of companies we're working with. There are a few others as well, but again, very exciting and highly appreciated by these companies at the time. Of course, in due time, when the companies grow and they are successful, it's time for somebody else to take over, and that will eventually happen to all of these as well. When, again, why work with Recipharm? This is our value proposition. I think this is the reason. We do have a lot of pharmaceutical expertise, and we can do most of the things to take very promising drug candidates into the commercial scale and into whether it's a license deal or an exit or whatever to a large pharma company, we could be very supportive in that process. I actually, personally, I've been extremely busy with Recipharm over these more than 2 decades. It's been a fantastic journey, never a dull moment, I would say. I'm highly interested in this industry. I think it's a great fun and extremely interesting. By doing services to other pharma companies, we actually get a relation with so many exciting companies, and similar to what we have heard and what we will hear about today here. So that's really a wonderful world. And even though I dare to say that I spend my full working week with Recipharm, I could elaborate a little bit on my spare time interests as well. I do have some of those. But it's difficult to stay away from the pharma industry, so my spare time I spend with other companies that are not directly related to Recipharm, and these are some companies where I spend Saturdays and Sundays, or perhaps nights. I have actually some private investments in these, and I also have, in most of them, I'm active in the board as well, but not as an executive at all. But again, it's an exciting industry, tremendously exciting actually. Lots of things are happening. So it's difficult to keep your fingers away from it. Actually, that ends my presentation. I don't think we have any time for questions, but I do have time to take some orders for services. Any of you like?